So while the whole world is talking about Nvidia and what Nvidia did and what Nvidia isn't going to do and what the price is, I thought I'd bring up something that I thought was a little bit interesting and something that I think we need to pay a little bit of attention to. So without further ado, as always, make sure you're signed up for the Substack over at statsedgetrading.com and make sure you're getting these emails as I'm putting them out and that you're not missing anything. And again, my algorithms will be provided to the people on that Substack soon. So again, make sure you're signed up for that as well. But let's just get into it here. And we're going to go into, I don't think it's that one. I think it's this one right here. Let's look at that in a second. So let's just take a look here at the Qs. This little dash just represents kind of where we are, the post-market. So the nice push up over the last couple days here. You know, lower highs, a nice little push up here on the Qs. Then if we go over to DIA, which is our Dow Jones Industrial Average, you see a little bit of the opposite, right? We're pushing down here and a pretty weak day today as we failed at these prior highs. So we can go over to that other chart that I had up there just for a second, and a little bit more pronounced. You can see it right here where we have this push up on the Qs and this push down on the Dow. And that's really interesting to me, and that's kind of what I wanted to turn on the camera and talk to you guys about today, because what does that mean? Well, you know, indexes are just simply, you know, the sum of their components, right? So we have tech with hitting new all-time highs. Then we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which obviously has a lot of industrials, financials, things that are a little bit more kind of nitty-gritty. That's pulling back. And that divergence doesn't necessarily mean anything. But if we go back to this chart right here, you can see it's actually very pronounced. This is something that we do at Trade Ideas that I love, where, you know, sometimes the Dow drops more, sometimes the Qs drop more, right? Sometimes the Qs rally more, sometimes the Dow rallies more. But if you look on this chart, and this is only a little bit of data, you very rarely see a massive move up in the Qs and then a massive move down in the Dow happening at the same time. So to me, again, it's nothing really crazy. A lot of people might say, oh, well, that just means, you know, tech is the only thing rallying. But if we go to one of my favorite indices, which is the RSP, or the equally weighted index, you can see it's still doing okay, but pulling back, showing that this is a tech-based rally. Now, can it be a tech-based rally and continue to be a tech-based rally for a long period of time, and that pulls indices up? Absolutely. But sometimes you want to see the whole market participate, give or take. So what I'm talking about, what I'm looking at right now is saying, okay, if tech, for whatever reason, falls back, then if everything else is already falling back, then it would make sense that we may have a little bit of a sell-off or some sort of consolidation in the market. So the more I see this divergence take place, the more I'm interested in, you know, taking some profits on some long-term positions that I have, raising a little bit of cash. If I'm wrong and we just rip to new highs, then I'll underperform a little bit and I'll need to look for some kind of high beta type names to catch up to that. But just seeing this is kind of just pointing out in my head that, hey, maybe we're going to have a little bit of kind of congestion here. And if you caught me on Trader TV on the after hour shows on Monday, I talked about how I was seeing this for one day, but now we're 3 days in and we're continuing to see the Qs rally and then the Dows fall back. So for me, again, doesn't mean it's 2008 all over again and the market's going to crash and Black Monday, blah, blah. It just means that when things start to diverge, the market could take a few minutes to digest that information and to move sideways or pull back. So I'm just positioning as such. I'm raising a little bit of cash. I'm looking for new ideas, which we'll go over on Friday when I do a big wrap up of all the weekly charts in the stock market and the Forex market and crypto and all of that. But for now, I'm just getting into a little bit of a cautious stance. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and, you know, retweet and all that kind of stuff. And again, make sure you're going over to statsedgetrading.com, signing up for the email list there, and I'll talk to you guys soon.